Hello, this is Bill Webb, aka Billy Indiana, and this is take two of my crowdfunding update for July 2021. Yesterday's file couldn't be used, so I'm re-recording today. Hopefully it goes better. Usually in the last couple of months, I've been separating my video into one video about the crowdfunding projects I've backed and ones I'm following, and then a separate video on those that I'm anticipating. But this month there aren't as many in the month of August that I'm anticipating, other than the ones that I'm already following because they're already active. And so I'm just going to combine it all into one video. I'll try to keep it so that it's not too long. My goal is 30 minutes. We'll see how close I can get to it. Got 19 games to cover. Hopefully I can spend a minute, 2 minutes at the most on these projects to help you see what I backed, what I'm following, and what I'm anticipating looking back on July 2021 and forward into August. So if you're interested, stay tuned. All right, of the games that I've mentioned, actually two weren't crowdfunded, but I wanted to mention them because they were online pre-orders, and the first is Now or Never by Ryan Lockett and Red Raven Games. I'll put all the links to every one of these pages in the description below so you can easily find them if you're interested. This pre-order is one where you can click on here, I think until the end of August, and this game is the third in the, how do you say this again? I always get the word wrong. Arzium, the Arzium trilogy. So Above and Below was the first game, Near and Far the second game, and now we have Now or Never. Monsters from a crystal meteorite have scattered your people. Rebuild the village and guide your people home. And if you order the pre-order, you get a free set of metal coins. So if you're interested, go to this link, click on pre-order, and you can do so. It says, will you rebuild your village? Hundreds of years have passed since the events of Near and Far. Strange monsters from a crystal meteorite have forced your people to scatter on a 20-year exile. Now it's up to you to rebuild your village and return your people home. Rebuild your village, save what remains of your people. 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, 90 minutes, and there's a video. You can check out the overview. I won't go into great detail on all of the pages, just a few, so you can get a glance at them, but you can always go and check them out yourself if they are of interest to you. So here you can see you get the coins, the hero boards, the unique villagers. I'm guessing there might be some overlap where some villagers could be used in Above and Below or Near and Far. He's done that before. Wide game boards. I was actually able to play test this back in January with Allison and Bryce from Better Half Reviews, and we used this wide board. It was pretty fun, and there's so much to explore. I pretty much spent almost my whole game over on the left half of this board, and Allison was mostly in the middle and kind of ended up over here, and Bryce pretty much stayed over here on the right the whole time, so lots of space to explore. Town boards, order tokens, specialists, and this was unique. You could actually not only use your own specialists, but use the specialists of the other players in the game as well. A season board to track the progress of the game, search tokens, hero ability tokens, gear tokens, enemy tokens, dice, a bunch of cards, buildings, nice wooden pieces. And then if you're interested in knowing the backstory of Arzium, you should check out this documentary film. I actually backed the Kickstarter and I'm looking forward to that. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, you may want to check that out. How to Play will be coming soon, and you can look at the rule book here if you are interested. So that is Now or Never, a game that I'm excited to get eventually. It's supposed to come out Q4 this year, so if the shipping issues don't continue to be too big of a problem and it comes on time, this might be one you could be interested in as well. The second one up is Dune House Secrets by Portal Games, and this is where they're going to take the theme of Dune and use the detective style of gameplay, which is another game from Portal that you may be familiar with. If you want, you can click on the video and watch that. You can pre-order in Europe or in America. And then about the game, it says, Arrakis, the planet of spice and endless sand at the far end of the Imperium, is filled with intrigue, conflict, and war. On the infamous planet of Dune, you find yourself between two great houses. The sinister House Harkonnen schemes for power and profit, while those loyal to House Atreides rally a rebellion among the native inhabitants long suppressed under the Harkonnen rule. Dune House Secrets is a cooperative story-driven game in which you join the resistance against the House Harkonnen. Experiencing an original adventure inspired by the blockbuster film, you must complete a series of missions with limited time and resources. It's impossible to experience every encounter, and the story changes as you make hard decisions and sacrifices along the way. How will you uncover the secrets of Arrakis? So, I watched the Dune movie back in the 80s when I was in high school, and it was a flop for me. I was hoping it was going to be the next Star Wars and it just let me down. I even tried to read the book, just couldn't get into it, but I've seen the trailers and I think with the time that's progressed and the advancement of CGI, I think this movie is going to be a lot more interesting. And it's even got to the point where, because of Dune Imperium and now this one and a couple others that are on the horizon, I am interested in maybe pulling that book back off the shelf and seeing if 53-year-old me maybe enjoys the book more than 16-year-old me or whatever it was back in those days. So this book you can see, or this game you can see, we've got some neat art along with the movie art, and you can get exclusive content with character backstories, messages for each character, postcards from Tel Gezer, a large map of Arrakis. I love maps, so that's kind of interesting. And then you've got thematic wooden tokens. All of these things are going to be unique to the pre-order version. So if you're interested, check this out, link down below, and see if this might be a pre-order you're interested in. I think the pre-order is going to be open until they run out of their pre-order limit to copies. And I think it was 1,500. So when that's up, I think that pre-order will close, but it looks like it's still open for now. All right, now let's get into the actual crowdfunded game. The first one is one I've backed. It's Oros, and this one is by Ash Games and Brant Brinkerhoff. And Brant is a tremendously creative person, and I just think he's doing a great job with this project and has done a great job with this game. I backed it for sure. I played it online with Brant and Allison from Better Half Reviews a couple months ago. Really loved it and can't wait to get the actual game in my hands eventually. 1 to 4 players, 30 minutes per player, ages 14 and up, with solo mode. And the unique thing about the solo mode is there are 4 different kinds of AI that you can choose from. This is just a beautiful game, and everyone that's been following it, Rado, others, all saying, man, it's just so impressive, so unique. It's based on tectonic theory, where you're colliding these land masses, creating volcanic eruptions, destroying land masses, creating new land masses, and then trying to create these big mountains from that tectonic action, and then putting shrines on those mountains. And as you do so, you're going to be moving your demigod token up this ziggurat. And as you get up to the top of the ziggurat, first one to the top wins. And the components are beautiful. The gameplay is so unique. You're actually moving the tiles around and shifting the game board as you go, or at least shifting the tiles on the game board. It says, the wise one, immortal keeper of wisdom and knowledge, has sent you demigods endowed with power over the elements to the far reaches of humanity. Your objective is to bring the mysteries of the mountains to the people scattered across the islands of the earth. Lots of good videos. The standard edition is $50. I'm sure that would be sufficient if that's what you're interested in. You want to save just a little bit of money. But I'm going to scroll down here and show you the difference with the collector's edition, which is what I'm backing. It's only $25 more. So if you have the money and you want to invest in this extra, it's going to have the same gameplay, but upgraded with spot UV on the box, 24 additional land tiles, and when you flip those tiles over, it's actually I don't even think you have to flip them over. When you play the tiles out, it actually can be used as a puzzle, and you can create a puzzle image if you like that kind of thing. So giant landscape puzzle, I think that's really a creative thing that he revealed last week. The sacred sites are going to be wooden. The character pieces are going to be wooden. The demigods are going to be wooden. There's going to be a custom insert. So that's quite a bit of added value for $25, and so that's why I chose to go with that one. And then this Friday, he's got another reveal that he's going to show additional layers of strategy to the game. I don't know what those are going to be, but I'm excited to find out Friday. He's had a lot of unique growth incentives also down here, and so I won't go through all these details. I will show you the different pledge amounts. You've already kind of seen them, but just to make sure you understand, there is the $1 follower, there's the $50 standard, and then there's the $75 for collectors, and then we've got 80 for retailers, and then they have the Silver Wise one, which is one where you can get multiple games and lots of other art prints and things like that. And then there was a Gold Wise one, but that one's already gone. And then if we scroll down here, let's find shipping, $15 for either version. So again, you're not having to even spend more on shipping if you go with the collector's edition. So in my thinking, the collector's edition is definitely the way to go if you're interested. So that is Oros, one that I'm extremely excited about. And let's move on. The next one, Bantam West, one that I've been excited about for months and talking about in my most anticipated upcoming games. Had a chance to play with Ike Brunicardi, the creator of the game, online. This is published by Bantam Planet, and loved my experience playing online. This is a sandbox sort of Western feel, but it's not set in the American Old West. It's actually set on another planet, Bantam Planet. So you've got all new terrain, all new kinds of history and lore. And what he's doing on this Kickstarter campaign is so unique. In a lot of the daily updates, he's actually sharing the lore of the different characters from the game, the different geography and the features of the planet. Really interesting twist to approaching this. And this game, when I played it, I went and I hunted wolves. I built a cabin. I bought a horse. All kinds of different things. It felt like I could go where any place I wanted and do whatever I wanted. But you're given these goals that you're shooting for, and you can adjust the length of the game by saying, "Hey, we're going to play the first one that achieves 3 goals, first to achieve 5 goals, first to achieve 10 goals," and so you can choose the length of the game you want. The Deathelm Frontier offers total freedom to those who are tough enough to survive its perils. To thrive out here, you must walk the razor's edge between good and evil. Use everything at your disposal and do whatever it takes to carve out your own path and come out on top. Leave behind your troubled past and write your story anew. 2 to 4 players, 14 and up, 1 to 2.5 hours, 6 game modes, 15-minute setup. Lots of components. These terrain maps that they show here are where you're starting. You can be in the city, and then you can go out into the wilderness. There's all these unique characters like Rita. She's one of the ones that he gave backstory lore for in one of the recent updates. Why she looks like she does, why she has this outpost store that she has. You can see that players can die, or actually NPCs can die and go to the graveyard. And here's where it talks about your player goals. So you're going to have certain things you're trying to pursue. You can battle other players. You can battle NPCs, bears and wolves and criminals. There's going to be events that take place, and then those events affect all the players of the board. It says here from Alex at Board Game Co., the degree of world building in Bantam West is incredible. The open world game truly is open world. Here are the components, nice miniatures. Here are the terrain tiles that surround the town tile. And you basically set the town tile here and then the 4 terrain tiles over here. And if you leave on different sections of the town, you're going to go into the different terrains that surround the town. Lots of really cool, unique features. And then here are our pledge levels. So $1 is a warm welcome if you just want to support. And this is a more expensive game because of all the content. $97 for the base game, and then $150 for the Shadow Governors, which has the metal coins, a terrain upgrade pack, upgraded first player token, and signed planet postcard. So I'm going in right now at the Shadow Governors level. Still trying to decide. I need to come back to it again before the final days and make sure that is going to be worth that $53. It says it's $167 value. I think I'm probably going to go into this because I'm very excited about the game, and I think having the upgraded terrain is going to be interesting, and I love metal coins, so that's what's drawing me in. But I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be between one of these two. Right now I'm at the 150. I may drop down, but probably not. We'll see. And then here's Home on the Range. This is what's shown with the Shadow Governors. You're getting the coin, the first grade token. The terrain upgrade pack is really what's intriguing me. Not so much the postcard of the first player token, but the coins and the terrain are interesting to me. And then here's the others that you can take a look at. Let's scroll down here and find the shipping. And you can look at the rest. There's all kinds of stretch goals. I will say that on this campaign, the stretch goals to me have been a little bit confusing, and they've been shifting. I appreciate that Ike's wanting to shift them and adjust to what people want, but he's done it in such a unique way. I think it has thrown some people off, and it's been a little bit hard for me to follow some of it. So that, I think, is maybe... It's been something I thought was really cool. They wanted to try something unique, but I'm hoping it doesn't kind of backfire on them a little bit because I think it has confused some people. But and then here are some optional purses. You can get the Dead Settlers map. You could order the upgrade pack, which I may end up just doing that instead. The map is going to be a Kickstarter exclusive, as is the postcard. So that's, like I said, I may drop down to the lower one and just get the terrain pack. Still, I'm between those two. Definitely backing it though. And then here's the shipping, only $16 in the US for the 48 contiguous states. So that's where we're at with this one. Definitely backing, just fluctuating back and forth between those two pledge levels. We'll see what happens in these next few days. If we check up here at the top, you can see there's just 1 week to go. And I think that's the same with Oros as well. Just 1 week to go on this one. Yeah, 7 days to go. All right, next up, Zorro Dice Game Stunts and Allies expansion. This is a game that's new to me. The dice game's been around for a while, and there's been a few Kickstarters for the original game, for a previous expansion, and now for this expansion. The standard version, here it says we're increasing from 30 to 48 stunt tokens. And you can see in this new one, the Stunts and Allies, you're going to have new villains emerging. Never fear, Zorro's here. And in this game, it's a dice game. It kind of reminds me in some ways of Bang the Dice game, but with a Zorro theme, and I think a little bit more variability because of the expansions that are available. Here we see in the summary, the base game and expansions are designed to allow you to ratchet up or down the difficulty and complexity depending on the group around the table. So I'm excited about that. You can play the base game with kids, it sounds like. I've heard several people say they play it with their children. And then you can add in, if you're an experienced hero, you can add in the Heroes and Villains expansion, which was a previous Kickstarter. And if you're a veteran, then you can add in the new Stunts and Allies expansion, which is this Kickstarter. And so my goal and what I'm backing is the all-in, almost all-in. I think it's one level under that. So let's take a look here. If you look at the reward levels here, you're going to be getting an Allied pack, which is Kickstarter exclusive, Equipment Pack 2, which is Kickstarter exclusive, 8 character cards, also exclusive, and then there's an original Equipment Pack 1 that isn't exclusive, but you can get. And so on the standard level, just getting the expansion for $19 plus shipping, you're going to get those ally cards, scoundrel cards, villain cards, acrylic dice, chipboard tokens, wooden ally tokens, equipment cards, and the 48 chipboard stunt tokens like was mentioned above. So it's a pretty good price, or pretty good quantity for $19. The deluxe expansion is if you want the big box, and this will hold everything. You'll get the new expansion plus the big box. The expansions will have these nice tuck boxes that fit in the big box. You'll also get level trackers and wooden stunt tokens there, along with custom sleeves. This is the level that I'm looking at, deluxe base game and expansions, because I don't have the base game. So here you're going to get the original game. You're going to get the Heroes and Villains expansion. You're going to get the felt dice tray, more custom sleeves, custom meeples, and that box, that big box to store everything. So that's what I'm looking at. I don't think I'll go to the all-in level. I was a little bit tempted, but the price is pretty steep. It gives you metal dice, which I think is pretty intriguing and interesting, but I've never played with metal dice, so I don't even know if I'll like that. And I definitely don't think that I need the dice cup or the Mask of Zorro, but some people will want everything. So if that's you, go for it. Everyone has, their own desires and preferences. For shipping, you can get free shipping. It says you'll get the best deal by backing all the things, bundle level reward if you prefer, all the things reward level above for pictures and details about add-on, free shipping. All right, so this is all what would be included. So you do get the free shipping. Here's some stretch goals, and several are funded. I'm going to scroll down to the shipping. You can see a lot of people here giving some good feedback. Also, if you create a Pull the Pin Games account, you can get a discount on shipping. And the shipping's not too bad. I'm looking at this one, which is $15. So you can see in the US what the prices are. And if you live elsewhere, you can also see those prices. So Pull the Pin Games, Zorro the Dice Game, Stunts and Allies expansion. And I'm looking at getting that almost highest up level to get all the content, but without some of the special features, the metal dice. A little over 2 weeks to go on that one. Now, what are the ones that I'm following? So those are the ones I've backed: Oros, Bantam Planet, and Zorro the Dice Game. Now, Soul Raiders is one I've been following for a while. 50 hours to go, so just a little over 2 days. This one looks like an epic story. Looks beautiful in terms of the art. It says, Soul Raiders, such a simple name for everything you'll become, the adventures you'll have, the fights you will lead, all the magical power you will wield. Your order has sworn to protect this world from countless enemies, and you will make sure that they remember this name too. 1 to 4 players, 30 plus hours of adventure, 800 cards. But it is primarily just a card game. I've watched some playthroughs. It looks like it would be fun, but I'm not sure. I have a lot of card games already, and I'm not sure I want to invest this much money in another card game, as beautiful as it looks, as interesting as it looks. And a lot of the people who've played the prototype have said kind of the same thing, that it looks really interesting. It's pretty fun. The prototypes were an interesting thing, but nothing too earth-shattering. And so that's the question. It's $130 for the Grimoire Deluxe Edition with a magnetic box, $83 US for the standard edition. So for a card game, that seems a little bit expensive, and there's a little bit of question as to how much the gameplay is going to expand and change. So that's where I'm kind of holding back. You can see several Grimoire exclusive things with tuck boxes and miniatures. I like the way that they've used the little Grimoire exclusive. So you can see portal miniatures and the plastic miniatures for the characters and the tuck boxes. I think it's pretty clear what comes in that edition, and they got it all together. So I kind of like that, a different approach. And then also showing some stretch goals here that are coming up. So currently unlocked stretch goals right there. You can see the location cards are this size and the playing cards are that size. And then here it just tells you what's in the editions, each edition, and what all the add-ons are. I'm going to scroll down to the shipping real quick. I love the art. Like I said, these characters and the art with them look really cool. So I still am on the fence. And here it talks about the different chapters. We got the Sanctuary chapter, the Cult, the Pit, and then different kinds of adversaries, different kinds of enemies, the stories you're going to unlock. A long page here. And eventually we'll get to the shipping. There we go, shipping and taxes. So the shipping is also not terrible, especially given the state of shipping these days. So if you look at US owned, $20 to $25 for standard, $23 to $28 for Grimoire, a little bit on the steep side, but not terrible. So again, the pledge level is $1 as a thank you, and then about 84 for standard edition US, about 131 for the Grimoire edition US dollars. So on the fence now, just a couple days to decide. Leaning away from it, maybe it's hoping it comes to retail or finding it secondhand in the future after I know a little bit more about the game. But definitely been following it. Definitely looks beautiful and very intriguing. Next up, Divinus, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to back this one now that they announced yesterday or the day before that this is going to come with recharge packs, free recharge packs. So that was a big thing. It's a legacy game, and it's by Lucky Duck, who also has created Destinies, which I've really loved, and Chronicles of Crime, which I didn't play the original, but I've played the 1400, 1900. Really love those. I like the app integration with those games. And so I'm leaning towards this one, but I haven't made my final decision yet. So here's what it is. Ancient Greece is being invaded by the pantheon of Nordic gods who have left their destroyed world in search of new land to rule over. A fierce clash of gods is about to begin, and a new pantheon will be formed from the ashes. The prophet Pythia foresees that one person of great power, a new divinus, will ascend. As a demigod of great renown, you can win the favor of either side and claim your own seat among the gods. I love the art. It's beautiful, and it's a tile-laying game. Some people have complained about that it's just a tile-laying game. Well, for me, that's actually attractive because I love tile-laying games, and I love that puzzle aspect of it. And I like the idea of playing different characters with different abilities and competing. I like the story mode. I watched the before you play through, and I like the story nature that was coming through. And now that there's recharge packs, so that when you're done with the different gameplay, you can actually recharge it and then pass it on or play it again and explore a different avenue of play. You get the free expansion Pandora's Box. There's a lot of exclusive content. And so here are the options. The Chest of Plenty is basically everything, and that's the $141 here. Comes in multiple languages. So here we go. Chest of Plenty, $141. All the gameplay content, all meeples upgraded to miniatures, all the stretch goals in a single Chest of Plenty big box, plus an exclusive myth scenario. So this is what I'm leaning towards, but not decided yet. Then there's the Demigod Pledge, which is the base game with the Pandora's Box expansion and the recharge packs. Then there's the Godly Pledge, and I'm between this one and the Chest of Plenty. This one saves, $25 here, and you won't get the big box. So I don't know, and you won't get that myth expansion. So I'll probably end up going with Chest of Plenty, but it's just a pretty good chunk of change here. But I think with all the expansions and the big box making a nice storage with the extra myth expansion, definitely interested in that. So I'm kind of fluctuating back and forth between this and that. Pretty sure I'm going to go for this one because I love the art and I love tile-laying games, and I like what they're showing here in the reveals. I like what I've seen in the gameplays. It feels like it's a game that we would really enjoy. So that is Divinus. In terms of shipping, you can see down here for the US, $13 to $19.50 in terms of euros. So it's going to be around $20, $25, I think. Depending on where you fall on this one. And so that is Divinus, one that I'm probably going to back, still a little bit on the fence. And if we look up here, how much time's left? 7 days left, week for that one as well. The next up, Architects of the West Kingdom Works of Wonder expansion. And this is one I have Architects. I have Age of Artisans expansion. Recently did a 3x3x3 review with All Aboard Gamer. Brandon and Lexi joined me on that and had a good time. And they actually had Works of Wonder at the time and were telling me about it. Definitely interested in this. I'm still not sure if I'm going to go in on the Kickstarter or wait until I can just get it at retail. That's one thing. Garfield Games is very open about this. There's not really exclusive content here. They don't do a pledge manager. They keep it really stripped down and simple. I appreciate that. The downside for them, and it's their choice of how they want to run these projects, but the downside for them is there's not as much motivation to back the Kickstarter, at least from my perspective. So I'm torn. I want to support them, so I may end up backing it. But like you've seen, there's so many others I'm interested in that have already backed. I got to draw a line somewhere. So I may end up waiting until this comes to retail. But here's what the expansion comes with. You get player boards, influence board, which is the new mechanism of the game. You get some double-sided AI boards with all the new mechanisms incorporated. 97 new cards, some wooden tokens here for the Wonders and Princess and Profiteer, and more resources here both for player markers and solo play. And you can also get the collector's box, which does intrigue me because, like I said, I have the Kickstarter version of the base game that I bought used. I got the Age of Artisans, and it's filling up that box beyond. So this would be nice if I get this extra expansion to be able to put it all in one box. The storage solution looks nice, very organized. So that's another thing that's drawing me in. And then the free crossover promo pack. I only have Viscounts, I don't have Paladins yet, but that's intriguing. And the neoprene playmat, I think this looks beautiful. So I am a little bit torn. I may end up going in on this one. And you can see here's the All Aboard Gamer review of that, if you want to check that out, along with several other reviews by a lot of other great people. Here are the reward levels. The Apprentice is 27 US just for the expansion. Architect is 70 for the expansion, the collector's box, and the playmat. If I go for it, that's where I'm going to go. The King is basically everything West Kingdom, and definitely can't afford that. Plus, I already have a lot of pieces of this, and then I already have the metal coins as well. So either the Architect level or waiting for retail is my choice right now. Check this one out. It started recently, right at the end of July, but it's a short project, so only 8 days to go. So next up, Earthborn Rangers. Earthborn Rangers is really intriguing to me because it's a sustainably produced, customizable, cooperative card game set in the wilderness of the far future for 1 to 4 players. The sustainability aspect of this game is really intriguing. The art is also gorgeous, and I like the theme. It's set in a futuristic setting, but more of a utopian rather than dystopian future. The wilderness of the far future beckons this customizable, cooperative game. Explore the lush and vibrant world full of natural wonders and mysterious ruins. The art is gorgeous. It's basically a card game, though, again. So like I mentioned before on Soul Raiders, the cost is a bit expensive, in my opinion, for a card game. But there's a reason for that, and I'll get to that in a minute. So here you can express your Ranger's personality and personal history through a myriad of deck customized options. Again, I love the order, the design, and the art. Very intriguing. A nice, beautiful map here to expand the narrative that you're traveling. Just gorgeous to me. But it is an $80 pledge for a card game. And so it is a lot of cards, though. It's approximately 500 cards, 70 tokens, a rule book, and a campaign guide. Unique landscape cards, 70 tokens. So you can also go 150 all in. I won't be backing it at this level if I do back it. It gives you a double core set. So if you're playing with multiple players and you both want to design your deck with the same cards, it gives you more flexibility in doing that, the card doubler. And then the Legacy of Ancestors campaign expansion. I may do that as an add-on if I do, but I don't think I want the doubler, and which that's going to be the biggest cost. There's also the playmat neoprene, or actually it's natural rubber, so it's more sustainable. The natural rubber playmats do look pretty cool. And then the art and lore book also sounds pretty cool. The Legacy expansion, a lot of really cool things here, but the money just starts adding up and adding up. And so that's where I'm not sure. You're going to create your unique Ranger by designing your own deck. So if you like deck building in that way, creating that deck, that is an interesting aspect. There are narrative actions that carry you through your story and walk you through this world as it comes to life, this open world expansion. Exploration. Now, here's what I really love about this. Earthborn Games is founded on the principle that tabletop games can and should be manufactured sustainably. As such, every component in Earthborn Rangers and in each add-on is able to be sourced and manufactured sustainably. How that manifests itself will be determined by the manufacturers with whom we ultimately work and the suppliers from whom they source their materials. So there's some unknown about how sustainable it can be, because it's going to be how well they can work with these manufacturers. But the fact that they're really striving to do that, I'm sure, is adding to the cost of the game, because anytime you take those extra steps to make it more sustainable, that increases costs. And that's why I'm very interested in supporting the company and their goals here. Even though while the game looks beautiful and sounds fun, it seems expensive, but am I willing to pay that extra cost to support the cause? That's what I'm struggling with, and I'm going back and forth on this. They also talked about regional manufacturing to make it, again, more sustainable. So instead of putting it all in one country, manufacturing there, and then shipping everywhere to expand the carbon footprint, having regional manufacturing to limit that carbon footprint. Really love the idea. So again, the pledge is $5 as a support, $80 for the core set, $150 for all in, and then the shipping... let's see, the shipping is going to depend on how well they can work with those manufacturers. So that's a little bit of an unknown here too. So it looks beautiful, a little expensive for a card game, but there's good reasons for it. So check that one out if you're interested. Next up, Turf War. This is a tiny little card game for $15. This is by Gadabout Games, created by Dan Nichols. And I actually had a prototype version of this and created a preview video that you can find on my site. And kind of a first for me, if you scroll down here far enough, see if I can find it here. This is kind of a moment when I realized, oh, he used my video. He linked it here on his page. So that's really exciting for me. The first time I've been featured on a Kickstarter page. So I hope you don't see that as bragging. It's just more of like excitement. I want to share that excitement. But the game is really cute. So let's talk about the game, not me. So the game is a situation where you try to have the best yard in the neighborhood. And each player is going to start out with a 3x3 grid of dirt. These cards flip over and there's grass on the other side. You're going to be planting different features and making your yard more and more beautiful. There's going to be a store of cards that will cycle through and you'll purchase them to advance your yard. And then there's also going to be a store of 5 neighbors that you're trying to sway their opinion to vote for you as having the best yard in the neighborhood. And to do so, some of them you have to bribe, some of them you have to have certain features in your yard. And so you have to sway their opinion by creating the best yard. But this has a lot of take that. You have a home and away action. So if you're home, you're going to play a card from your hand and potentially sway a neighbor. If you use the away action, you're going to go away from home and work to get money and shop at the store. But while you're away, your neighbors, and it's a 2-player game, so your neighbor then can play some of these cards like skunks or other cards that are kind of take that. Let's see if we can get down here to some of these. Yeah, these pests. You can put them in your neighbor's yard while they're away and make it harder for them to have a great yard. So if you like a good dollop of take that and you want a simple, pretty quick card game, check this one out. My wife and I aren't into take that games, but we were able to play it with very little take that. I think it took a little bit away from the enjoyment of the game just because of our preferences, but especially if you like that kind of a game, give it a shot. If it's funded within 72 hours of its start, then these fantasy versions of the cards are going to be available as well. All right, another one that I'm following is Iridia, the Paths We Dare Tread. This is an open-world, campaign-based cooperative fantasy role-playing board game for 1 to 4 players. All miniatures are pre-painted, and uniquely, some of the heads are interchangeable, so you can create very unique characters. This game's been in production for several years, and it's huge in scope and content. But that does mean it's also very expensive. So we'll talk about that here in just a minute. You can see all the beautiful components, the interchangeable heads on these pre-painted miniatures, all the tuck boxes. This is from the group that brought Zaya. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it, and I haven't played it, but I've heard great things about this game, and it's been highly regarded. You're going to create a character. You're going to explore an open world. I love this aspect. It's you flip over these tiles and you see a world, or you see an aspect of this world, and then you can dive into that world by looking at these maps that take you, okay, now I'm going into this tile. Now here's this world in greater detail. And then even in there, you can go into the buildings of that level and go to smaller cards, interact with characters, experience different events, discover these points of interest. And of course, you can fight monsters along the way and gain loot along the way and store them in these really cool tuck boxes. You can level your characters up as you go. Really beautiful, very interesting. And it comes with these different paths, and they're little modules that fit in the big box. The paths are Path of Valor. These hardy warriors tread the field of battle in pursuit of martial prowess. The Path of Shadow. These formidable stalkers use every available advantage with no regard for honor. The Path of Light. Seekers of the light, pursuing healing of the land by casting out all that succumb to darkness. Paths of Wandering. Rangers of the wild live in harmony with the land, their minds and bodies as taut as the bows they wield. So again, open world, you get this big map, all these different locations, but it is because of the scope and grandeur of this game. As I scroll down past all this, you can check this out on your own. Let's get down to the options here. Great deal, a great job of explaining everything in great detail. You should know exactly what you're getting if you dig through all that detail. But you can see the base is $165. So because of its scope, because of all the painted minis and everything, it is quite expensive. And so while I'm very intrigued, I'm not sure I'm going to dive in at that cost. I'm not sure. It's a very expensive for one game. But multi-layer boards, like I can see why it's expensive. Wooden tokens, all these treasure chests. The scope, like I said, is incredible. And then this is going to be exclusive to Kickstarter, this Epic Hunt expansion, a small add-on. So in the Epic Hunt, you're going to get another pre-painted miniature and 20 extra cards to give you an extra little side part to the game. And then lots of previews. And then for shipping, it's going to be, they're subsidizing part of it, so $25 to the continental US. I appreciate that subsidy. So very expensive. Not sure I can afford this one at this time, especially with all the others I'm looking at. So we'll probably hold off on this one, but so intriguing because it is beautiful. It is grand and enormous. Almost a month to go to think about it, though. So that is Iridia, the Paths We Dare Tread by Far Off Games. So the completion of this video has proven to be an elusive objective with lots of obstacles along the way, but I am going to persevere and hopefully we can finish it out this time around. I do have on my hat for luck this time, so let's see if we can get this done. So the next game I'm keeping an eye on is Almanac Crystal Peaks. It's a new game from Scott Almes. It says it's the next chapter in the Almanac series. Travel to the north and explore new towns. This is by Colossal Games, created by Scott Almes. And it says we're welcoming back to the world of Baloria. It's for ages 12 and up, and you can see the costs here. We'll look a little bit more at these two pledge rates or pledge amounts. Almanac, the Crystal Peaks, is the second chapter in the Almanac series. It's set in the whimsical fantasy realm of Baloria. You take the role of a traveling merchant and must travel to strange towns, acquire and sell goods, and face an unpredictable set of encounters as you journey the frigid and wondrous paths of the Crystal Peaks. So you're going to have these player screens, this book of worker placement sites to explore, and these tokens and cards that go with it to guide that adventure. It's a unique way to play the game where every board or every page, combination of pages, you're going to have instructions basically on the left with special rules for that round, and on the right you're going to have your worker placement page. And then whoever wins that round, and there's a unique bidding system as well where you're all going to bid, and whoever bids the most wins, but they only pay whoever bid the least. So that's a very unique bidding mechanism. But every worker placement sequence is going to be different. There's going to be different rules. And whoever wins gets to choose which is the next adventure you're going to go on. And I think there's 19 pages in this book, and you go through 5 at a time. So lots of replayability. And it says here, if you have the Treacherous Trails expansion, you can combine the two games together. You can see we've got Stella's Short and Sweet. We've got other previews here by a variety of different people. Let's go ahead and check out the pledges. For $49, you can get the new Crystal Peaks plus the Treacherous Trails expansion, which allows you to combine the two games plus stretch goals. For $80, you can get all of the stuff. You can get the Almanac Original, The Dragon Road, plus the Crystal Peaks, plus the Treacherous Trails, and this Merchant's Manifest. And just if you're curious, I did a quick research, and you can find the Dragon Road for between $36 and $40 right now at a variety of stores. I haven't been able to find this Merchant's Manifest anywhere at this point, and so I think this is a reasonable price considering you would get both base games and both expansions, but just brief amount of research I've done. And then there's multi-box pledges and merchants, retailers pledges. So you can get the upgrade pack if you want all wooden tokens. And then here it tells you a little bit about that Treacherous Trails, becoming the ultimate guide. Beware the Bat Bear. It talks about how these cards work, and there's a variety of different cards. You're going to choose the different A, B, C, D, and E for each round, which of the 5 you're going to choose. And this Treacherous Trails will come free at the Outpost Pledge or Higher. So they've already unlocked Treacherous Trails and their advanced starting caravans. All right, so what's in the box? Well, you get the game book, you get those caravan cards, Key to the City, you get encounter cards, contract cards, player screens, all the tokens, meeples, and rulebook. And then I watched this before you play video a while back to get a feel for how it works, and I've heard Jeremy Howard speak about this as well, and that's interested me, his love for the game. And so here, if you get just the Outpost, it's $10. If you get the Open Road, it's $12. And then if you're going to one of those multi-packs, it's more. But that's really pretty reasonable for shipping, especially given these days. And so that's basically the page here. You can see it's going to plan to be fulfilled in the US next summer. And it gives you some reasons to back. Says don't leave us hanging. They're going to be using backer kit apparently. And you can see here it's just the $49 and the $80, and then those retailer versions as well. All right, so that is Almanac, the Crystal Peaks, 19 days to go. Next up, Lands of Galzir by Snowdale Design. And Snowdale Design and Sammy Laxo are the crew that brought Dale of Merchants, one of my favorite games. And this is a story-driven adventure in an open world. Embark on a grand adventure in the lively Galzir. The game features an open and persistent world, hundreds of stories, and charming animal folk. Supports both competitive and cooperative play for 1 to 4 players. And I think that's pretty interesting to have both a competitive and cooperative format and a good save mechanism. As we look down here, you can see an adventure of a lifetime awaits. Make your mark and earn prestige as you journey across the lands of Galzir. A big map board, 2-sided. There's spring and fall, I think, or sorry, spring and summer, and then winter and fall, I think, on the other side. It's got a unique storage system, very similar, it looks like, to the Dale of Merchants storage system. And like I said, it's going to have that save mechanism for you to keep exploring in this game where you can take on all kinds of adventures. Really cool looking dice. Why to back now? Be a part of the journey. Great bundle price. Get the game first. So here is the deluxe version, $154. And this has the journal, the dice tray, sleeves, the neoprene mat, and that's what's included there. If you get the base game, it's $83. So a little more than half, but almost half. And it's the base game with all the unlocked stretch goals. And so if we look down here at more detail, the things included in that deluxe game are this adventure journal, the dice tray, and the extra dice, as well as the sleeves and playmat. So probably the playmat looks pretty interesting, but I don't think I would have much interest in the journal or the dice tray or the sleeves. It seems like it's still loading some things since I refreshed, or maybe they're updating some things. Some other things to unlock. They've already unlocked a soundtrack, which is kind of cool. More stories, more cards, and different achievements. And again, here we can see in the base game what's it keeps jumping on me. What's included. And we get some custom wooden features. I like this, these little adventure boards. You have these pieces that fit into the holes on the adventure board to track your skill development. I thought that's a really clever idea. And these are the plastic pegs you put in there, the molded dice, all the cards, and so the storage organization and the double-sided board, wooden tokens, cardboard tokens for some of the things, but wooden tokens for quest and day token. And then the 3 documents to help you play the game. And then the deluxe version includes all those, plus the journal and the dice tray, the extra dice, like we said, all those things that we mentioned before. This game does work with an app, and so it helps store the game, it helps tell the story. And some people aren't into app-driven games, but this digital storybook, I think, could work very well. From what I've heard on the preview videos I've watched, most people are very happy with that app integration. You're going to choose from several characters, Bumir, Moor, Asala, and Karadai, as you play. And then here it's going to talk about how you play and how immersive it is. I love the art of Dale of Merchants, and that art carries over with these really cute characters, these animals. And there's a bunch of people who have given previews and first impressions. I've watched quite a few of these videos, and I'm pretty excited about this game. It is on the steep side, but I think if I go at the base game level, probably can squeeze it in the budget. We'll see. Definitely watching this one. In terms of shipping, we can see here for the US, where I'm located, for 15 to 20 euros for the base and 20 to 25 for the deluxe. So that is what you're looking at there. And that is Lands of Galzir. This one's on Gamefound. And it has 26 days left, so almost a month still to look into this, dive into it, see what kind of things get revealed, and make a decision for myself and for you if you're interested. All right, next up, Legend Academy by Eldorado Games. And this one is a very intriguing game where you are playing heroes when they are young, and they're going to the Legend Academy to become full-fledged heroes. So Alex from Board Game Co., absolutely a ton of fun. It's exactly what I like in games. Jeremy Howard, I want to play again. This game is really, really fun. And so you can see we've got Paul Bunyan, Alice in Wonderland, Little Red Riding Hood, and Robin Hood as our characters, and it's got a book of maps that you're going to be exploring, and you've got these double layer player boards to track your development. kind of a tech tree there. First 48 hours backers are going to get that first player coin, jumbo coin. It's a competitive deck building and crafting worker placement game adventure for 1 to 4. You are a legendary character, but before your story was told, you must attend a prestigious Legend Academy to learn the lessons needed to take your place in history. Go to class, learn new skills, and go on famous quests from ancient tales like The Jungle Book, Gulliver's Travels, The Odyssey, and more. Looks really pretty. And there's the deluxe edition for $69 and group pledge. So not a lot of different pledge levels, which keeps it nice and simple, straightforward. And this price looks pretty good for what's coming in the game. And it's, see here, they've already unlocked the free mini expansion. Oh no, 8 backers needed to unlock that one. And they're hoping to see 508 more backers to unlock the free mini expansion solo and 2-player Paul Bunyan. They've already unlocked Linen Finish and dual layer player boards. 10 highly replayable adventures, quick character progression, highly asymmetric characters, tense and explosive turns, combos, and more combos. And this shows you in a glance what's in the box. There's a little bit of card crafting, kind of like Mystic Veil, I think. And then, like I said, these really cool dual layer player boards. I like this storage feature here. This magnetic flip box looks really cool. And then, like I said, these dual-sided transparent upgrade cards. And the miniatures look really nice. The art is really cool. I like the characters that they're including. And I think this game offers just a ton of replayability in the fact that they're probably going to be able to bring new heroes, new adventure novel sets. So there are 5 adventure novel sets included. And so you can see they look really cool, like books themselves, Jungle Book, Gulliver's Travels. And then I won't go through all this how to play and how to craft your deck or assemble your team, but you can read through that on your own. It's a very puzzly game. I like the fact that the people that are helping do a lot of the play testing, some of the people, are people that I trust in terms of their review and content creation, like Jeremy Howard and Alex from Board Game Co. and Jesse from Quackalope. But these books look really cool. And this is jumping around on me too. That must be something about the Gamefound site. So we've seen Gulliver's Travels. You got Jungle Book, Odyssey, Treasure Island, and Wizard of Oz. Those are the storylines you're going to be taking your heroes through. So that is interesting, very unique game from the style of play and also from the theme. If we look down here at shipping, we can see US is $15 to $20, and for timeline, next September. So that's one I'm looking at and definitely considering. It's on the lower end price-wise, so that's drawing me in a little bit. It also is very unique in theme and sounds really interesting. So those are all the ones that I'm already following. Now to close out, what are the ones that I'm looking forward to in the end of August? So many things came out the first few days of August. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that just came out in the last few days, and then several that came out the last week of July. But now we've got a handful that are coming out in the end of the month. First up, Artifacts, and I'm not going to spend too much time because this weekend I'll be posting my own video to dig into this as a preview for the Kickstarter. And Artifacts is a gigantic modular game board coming soon to Kickstarter. August 17th is the launch date. And it is a gigantic game, but what's interesting is it comes in different segments and modules. And I've had a chance to get online for several hours with Franck Beauvais, the creator, and he's walked me through the tabletop simulator version and shown me all kinds of aspects. We've played a variety of modules and segments in brief form just to give me a feel for the game. And basically, you can summarize it in, you can play it as simple as you want, even down to just with upper elementary age kids, or you can make it as complex as you want with all the labor of love he's put into the development of this game. You can watch this trailer if you want. You can find it on YouTube, and I'll put a link down below. You are basically becoming an artifactor to develop a machine and then go into an arena and battle with the machine you develop. That's kind of the premise of the game. But the simplest segment of the game, and you can get the rules here if you want to, the simplest segment of the game is just to take pre-made machines and go into the arena and battle. But if you want to expand it, then you can expand it a little bit just by creating the machines as you want. And then if you want to expand it even further, you can create the arena as you want. And then if you want to expand it even further, you can go into more and more of the modules. I'll just skim through the rulebook here to show you a couple things. So here is the arena board, just a plain arena board. But like I said, if you use the one segment, you can add that modular input to create the arena just like you want. And like I said, you can, the machines look like this. This is the cover for it. And then let's see. Oh yeah, over here you can see it on this workshop dashboard here. See if we can zoom in just a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. So on this dashboard here, you can see you're going to put different cannons and movement, so you can control the movement. And so if you want to not take one of the previously made machines, you can develop all your own, down to the firepower you have, down to the movement that you have. And there's all these different other, like I said, modules: ballistic installation, fortifier, architectonic installation, builder, kinematic improver, merger. All of these are modules you can put in as many of them as you want to make the game as complex as you want or as simple as you want. Next up, we've got Edge of Darkness expansion, Emissaries of the Veil. Edge of Darkness is a big game by John DeClaire. It's kind of like the Mystic Veil game, if you're familiar with that, where you're card crafting with the see-through sleeves. And this one is going to launch sometime in August, it says. And so I'm curious about this one. If you go to the AEG website, it says the game is going to be called Emissaries of the Veil. You'll need to gather help from the Veil to learn ways of druidic magic if you are going to defeat the Blight before it destroys the Veil forever. When the dust settles, will your guild be victorious? Find out in this exciting new release for Edge of Darkness, John DeClaire's award-winning card crafting worker placement game. And there's a video here if you want to watch that. Some game art displayed here, and gameplay by Geek and Sundry. So not a ton of information yet, but supposedly coming out sometime this month. I have the Kickstarter version of Edge of Darkness that I bought recently secondhand. Haven't had a chance to play yet, so hoping to get that to the table and check it out, see how much I like it, and then following this when it launches later this month. Next up, Earth Rising. Earth Rising is a cooperative board game about saving the world. 20 years to transform our world by stop, drop, and roll. Now, this one, I believe, came out on Kickstarter before, and they canceled the Kickstarter. They've gone back, done more work on it, done more preparation, tried to build a community, and now they're bringing it back again. I've seen different dates. It looked like it was going to be in July. Now it's looking like August, but I'm not sure the exact date. You can watch this video if you want to find out more about the game. But basically, this is a game where you are designing it using the donut system, or the game was designed using the donut system, which demonstrates how our societal needs may be balanced alongside our planetary impact. You're going to be a climatologist, ecologist, activist, grassroots politician, innovator, or eco-investor, and your goal is to save the world from ecological disaster. And so the board looks really cool, this sort of circular design with all of these things that branch off from the board and things that you'll be placing on the board. So I'm very excited for this to come out and figure out how the game plays exactly. And another thing, like Earthborn Rangers, this is one where they're also trying to create it 100% sustainably, and that may have been why they had to sort of cancel the original Kickstarter to give themselves more time to flesh out all that needs to happen to know how they're going to do that. And then 50% of the profits will be donated to ecological organizations, and they give some here that they're planning to contribute to. They do have a Discord, so you can join that if you want to follow along and play online. And then you can also go to the Kickstarter page, and as I said earlier, all of these links will be below, and you can click on this Notify on Launch if you want to learn more about this when it does launch, hopefully in August. And next up, we've got from Grail Games, The Gardens. Also says coming to Kickstarter in August, don't know the exact date. But this is based on Sydney's Royal Botanical Garden, and you are going to be taking these cards and drafting them to create your own version of the garden. And so here is an image of a bunch of the cards put together to create a version of Sydney's Botanical Gardens, and they're going to have people giving some input soon, it looks like. If we go to the BGG's page, you can see a few more images. I thought this was kind of cool how if you look at some of these pictures, some people have been taking a picture of the card in the actual location at the Sydney Botanical Gardens. That's kind of cool. You can see another one here where they're showing this picture or this card along with a picture. And then again here you can see the different players creating their version of the gardens. And it looks like some sort of tracking board over here. It looks like maybe a 2-player game with this tracking board over here. So excited to see what this one's going to hold. The Gardens from Grail Games coming in August, or at least that's what it says. And then last, I've been following this one for a while, Paradox Initiative by Elf Creek Games. Still very little known about this. Originally it said summer 2021. Now we are seeing August. And so hopefully sometime this month we're going to learn more about Paradox Initiative. What I do know is they had contracted a couple dozen artists, maybe even 2 or 3 dozen artists. There were a lot of names on the list to create a very unique collection of different art by different artists in this Paradox initiative. I watched a short bit of a video by Shut Up and Sit Down where they actually did some playthrough, and it looked like a very intriguing game with some unique gameplay. So this is one I'm also hoping will launch sometime in August, and I'll be able to check it out and learn more just as you will. So those are the things coming later in August that I'm looking forward to. So there you have it. Those are the games that I backed, the games that I pre-ordered, the games that I'm still following, and a few games that I'm looking forward to that should be launching sometime later in August of this year, 2021. Hopefully this video was helpful for you to see what are some of the different projects on Gamefound and Kickstarter that are still active in case you're interested in those, and also looking ahead to some that you might find interesting, hopefully launching later in August. If you enjoyed the video, it'd be great if you click on that thumbs up down below to give it a like. I would love it if you'd subscribe to the channel. And if you want to add any comments below about some of the Kickstarters you're interested in or Gamefound projects you're interested in, if any of these really intrigue you and you want to chip in and share what is exciting about those projects to you, I'd love to read your comments down below. As always, thanks for watching. This is Billy, Indiana, signing off.